Here, my little mockingbird. Good morning, community. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening Canning. Recipes, a little bit of everything. My friends, it's brutal. Yesterday, our heat index was 117. 117. That is very dangerous, and it is very awful, and it's starting to take a toll on the garden. So today is the longest day of the year. Glad to get this day over with and start going downhill on our time and our heat. But yeah, it's been pretty awful. So let's talk about what's going on here at the farm and what direction we think that we're going to be headed. Stay tuned. So this little high tunnel is just about done, except for our herbs, and we are protecting those herbs, guys, because our community absolutely loves them. We freeze dry them, and they are even way better than fresh herbs. I've had several people comment that they cannot believe the flavor and the aroma that comes out of those freeze dried herbs. So we're going to keep our herbs going in here. Tons of squash bugs, so those plants are going to come up. I've just got one patty pan over there that I want to come to fruition. Then those are going out. We're not going to replant in here squash because of the squash bugs. We're going to let that die down and get that ready for our fall gardening. Yeah, that's right around the corner. But we think what we're going to do with the little high tunnel is I'm not going to put any of my cool weather plants in here because it still gets too hot and they start to bolt earlier. So we think we're going to use this little high tunnel as a seed starting tunnel and our herb tunnel. So as probably November, December rolls around, we'll go ahead and start our spring seeds. We can keep it warm in here way better than we can in the big high tunnel. So that's what we think we're going to do. And then we will convert it to an herb tunnel and fill this entire tunnel up with herbs because there is a pretty good demand for herbs in our area for these freeze-dried, organically grown, fresh herbs. So yesterday's heat was completely awful. We really had to take a break yesterday. The heat is very dangerous. We have to stay hydrated. We have to stay cool. And so getting out here at sun up and taking care of what needs to be taken care of is imperative, especially if you're in Texas, guys. And I know a lot of you in South Texas are even worse than we are. But yeah, it is pretty scary. It is pretty dangerous. But what is prospering is our purple hull peas and our okra, because those are both hot weather plants. And so we've got purple hull peas and okra on the back acre, but we also have it in here. Now this is the Clemson spineless that I got from Survival Garden Seed, and then the other ones are the heavy hitter okra from my seeds that we saved from last year. So we are starting to get maybe about 1.5 pounds a day of okra. We expect that to kick in even further. Now our heat-loving tomatoes are starting to kick in, and they're very large. These are, I believe, the Brandywine tomatoes. They really love the heat, guys, and they are producing some beautifully sized slicers. Now, I know many of you have asked what kind of varieties we're growing. So we've got the Perone, we've got the Brandywine, we've got the blueberry cherry, and I know a lot of you like the Amish paste and stuff and Romas for making sauces, but guys, I'm using any tomato to make sauces. I'm just fine with whatever I get, and I'm very thankful. So we have to kind of grow the varieties that are really good for us here in Texas, and those seem to do pretty well. These blueberry cherry tomatoes continue to be very prolific, and so we are still harvesting these and enjoying these. And then of course you can see we've got our peppers in here, and they're doing quite well. I got to do more pickling because pickled jalapeno peppers are absolutely delicious. And then here's some of our poblanos. So your peppers are going to be just fine. Just make sure you give them plenty of water, and they will start to prosper even more in July and August. At least that's what has been our experience and what we tend to see. So let me update you on my purple hull peas. Looky here, guys. I planted them, you may remember, at the beginning in between my tomato plants, and they are starting to climb up, and they are looking marvelous, darling, marvelous. And here are more of my purple hull peas that I planted next to the okra. So they're starting to climb my okra plants. And then here's more next to the bigger tomato plants, and you can see I'm already starting to get some pods, which is really, really exciting. So if you're in Texas, 5 o'clock today, June 21st, Ercot says is going to be our peak, that we might run into issues. They did start sending out messages yesterday. We didn't get one. I don't know if any of you did, to start to conserve. And they said if Dallas had been just a couple of degrees warmer, that we would have run into issues. Guys, we just can't have that. We just can't have that. It is too hot. It is dangerous. It easily could be very deadly. So if you're in Texas today, you want to pay attention to what they're saying around 5 p.m. today. So this is certainly a rerun from last year, I know, because we were in oppressive heat, but the heat we had last year did not have the humidity that we have this year, so we didn't get the feels like temps, the heat index, like we're getting right now. The humidity I've not seen in Texas in years like this, and this prolonged, which is, man, I'm telling you, it's brutal and it's dangerous. So right now we're focusing on tomatoes, cucumbers, purple hull peas, okra, and our various peppers. That's what looks like we're going to be able to pick up from here. The tomatoes eventually are going to go by the wayside, guys, because of the heat and the humidity. But we are going to start more seeds, and many of you said, are we going to take suckers and plant? Yes, we're going to do that as well. But there's a couple of varieties I want to grow in the fall, and that is the black creme, which is a cool weather. And the black creme has just such a wonderful meaty texture and flavor. So I'm going to try to start more of those and see if we can't get some of those. But yes, we will take suckers from our tomato plants and try to root them and then turn right around and plant. Now, we don't want to try to keep, many of you have said, if you keep your plants alive, won't they begin to prosper? We tried that last year, guys, and they just burned up. And we were spending so much time on pruning and watering to no avail. They did not pick back up, and we ended up not being able to have the bulk of tomatoes that we would have liked to have in the fall. So this year, that's why we're just going to start over. We think it's just better to start over, even if it's from suckers, but also to start over with some seeds so that we can foster them and make sure they get the proper nutrition and mineral content, so that when we put them in the ground, that they should take off and be prosperous. Now, we have harvested tomatoes in December before, but we don't know that we'll be able to do that because we are now in an El Nino pattern, which supposedly is going to bring us a colder, wet winter. I guess that remains to be seen, and we'll find out on that. El Nino's also supposed to be bringing us a wetter June. We're not seeing that for us. Now, others around us are, but we are not seeing it for us. We've not gotten any rain in a while, and we desperately need it. So it's 8:17, and I'm already beat because it is so hot. So very hot. But anyway, wanted to give you guys an update. The longest day of the year is just about past us. Yes, we still have July and August to get through, and we are gonna get through with the Lord's help, and we're gonna push forward. But guys, fall, hopefully, is right around the corner, and it'll hit us a little sooner this year than it did last year. Love you guys. Take care. God bless.